Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Teresa and today I'm going to do like a get ready with me. I also want to talk about a TV show I've been watching on HBO called Chernobyl. It is based on true events. I know a lot of it's dramatized to make it into like a TV show, but I think it's very important for people to watch, adults to watch, because it's what really happened. So this is a mini series on HBO. It airs at 9 o'clock on Monday. I know they already aired 4 episodes. So for the first episode is kind of introducing you to what happened. Like the guys working at the nuclear power plant and how the meltdown occurred and how they really weren't sure what has occurred. No one really believed them. The Soviet Union was in rule in Ukraine and in Russia, and so they kind of kept everything a secret. And when this occurred, they did not evacuate the surrounding city, and they didn't like notify anybody else for days when this was occurring, as this meltdown has occurred, and it's spewing, radiation into the air, into the town, onto the people. It's just terrifying. And this is what really happened in 1986. Like, I was talking to my friend Sarah about this, and I was like, you gotta watch the show. And she watched 1 episode, and I told her it happened in 86. Like, this happened in our lifetime. And she couldn't believe it. She goes, oh, I thought this happened in like the 50s. But it's just so crazy. Like 30 years ago, people were so uneducated about, the effects of having nuclear power plants, nuclear bombs, anything nuclear. And it's really scary. Well, pretty much I'm gonna be all over the place because I never filmed a video like talking about something I'm so passionate about. So 2 years ago, I was obsessed with Chernobyl. Like, I started learning about it by seeing YouTube videos like abandoned explorers exploring the area, and the whole area, the whole town is uninhabitable. Like, they do tours, people visit. I guess there's some squatters that live close by and they refuse to leave, but it's very, very dangerous. So in the show, the first responders after this fire, the firemen went, they didn't have any protective gear on, nothing to protect themselves from the radiation. They didn't even know radiation was spewing from this. It's terrible. And these firemen, they put out the fire, but they all ended up dying shortly, like within months or sooner. And it's absolutely terrible. I think it was episode 3 in the show, what the radiation did to them. It completely broke down. Like, I'm not a scientist, just so you know, but it completely changed their cell structure in their body, and their whole, it wasn't just burns in their body, which a lot of people thought it was just burns. It completely killed them from the inside out. Their organs just malfunctioned. Everything went. These people in the show, their skin disintegrated. Their face was gone, and it was very, very terrifying. And the one woman, her husband is a firefighter, and he was dying, and it was so sad because she was pregnant with his child, and the doctors kept telling her, you cannot touch him, but she did because she loved him and she thought it was just burns. It's so disturbing. The people just didn't know. And the Soviet Union tried to keep all their mistakes a secret. Which is, I don't know. The whole situation is absolutely disturbing. I do recommend this TV show, but I want you to be aware that this is real events. This really happened. And, you know, it's not like, there's some very disturbing things that happen in this show, but everything that happened in this show is real. Today I caught up with episode 4, and I have 2 cats. They're spoiled little kitties. As the scene came where the young boy, well, because they had to, let me get to where sorry, I'm all over the place. They had to recruit a bunch of people for the cleanup efforts. They needed people to cut down trees. They needed people to, you know, dig up the earth and put, I don't know, something over it to protect it. And the surrounding town, they needed people to kill all the animals because the animals were now radioactive. And they needed people to kill them. And it's so disturbing and so hard to watch that scene because they're like, this one boy they recruited, and he wasn't in the army. They were recruiting outside the army because they needed lots and lots of men. And, you know, the one guy was explaining, like, what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be going into town and shooting animals. And he says, it's not that hard because they're pets and they're excited to see you. And he gave them a rule: do not shoot the gun. You know, don't point the gun at me. And if you shoot the animal and you don't kill it, keep shooting, because we do not want these animals to suffer. And it was just so heartbreaking. As I'm holding my cat, these people had to go out and kill these poor house pets that were abandoned. And they're probably scared, you know, like all their owners are gone, they're surviving on their own, and these people come down and hunt them down. Very, very disturbing, but it's what happened. You know, that really happened. They had to at the time. But gosh, that's hard. Ooh, I need to blend that in. That is hard to think about and very disturbing. But I know after the Chernobyl incident, I believe the United States will no longer allow new building of nuclear power plants, but there are still power plants in operation in the United States. And I believe, like Russia and Ukraine in that area, they still rely heavily on nuclear power. So that's scary. I don't know, but that show, absolutely insane. If you have any knowledge or information or articles for me to read, I'd love for you to let me know, because I am just self-taught. Like, I just, you know, what I find, what I Google on the internet, and what I read into. But it's pretty insane. And I also wanted to talk about Game of Thrones. So that is another show that airs on HBO. And a couple weeks ago, they just, you know, did their season finale. Not the season finale, the show finale. And a lot of people are pretty upset about the ending of the show. They feel it was rushed. And which I do agree with that. I do feel like it was rushed. And I heard that the writers rushed through it because they got a contract to write for Star Wars. So I do agree that they rushed, but some things like Daenerys becoming like the Mad Queen, I feel like they were giving us clues a long time ago. Like she said from season 1, she wanted to take down those men and tear down their stone houses and take down those men in iron suits. So, you know, I do feel they were, you know, giving us hints all along. But at the time, you know, she was taking down bad people, killing bad people, slave owners and stuff like that. So people admired her because she was, you know, kind of like saving people, the slaves and stuff, and freeing them, making them free men. And she was so powerful and beautiful and the dragon mother, you know. So she was definitely a fan favorite, and I think a lot of people are upset because they loved her, you know. But I guess that's the reality of what power can do to somebody. I mean, it's sad, but I don't know. And with Jon Snow killing Daenerys, stabbing her in the heart with the dagger, that was always predicted. There was a prophecy, I forget what the guy's name is, but the prince, and he's the one who's meant to rule, and he kills the one he loves or whatever, and the prophecy came true and he killed her. I do know a lot of people are upset that Jon went back up to the north to be with the wildlings and be in the Night's Watch. Like that was his punishment for killing Daenerys. And I understand that he needed to have some kind of sort of punishment, because you can't just kill the queen. And the queen had, you know, the Dothraki and all the other people who are upset and they want, you know, justice. So I get that part, and they had to like appease everybody. But I see how people are upset because, you know, Jon was brought back for a reason. Like he was brought back from the dead, and everyone wanted to see Jon be the king. But maybe Jon is where he's supposed to be. I'm using the Bonbons palette, by the way. I'm not really talking about any of the makeup I'm using. Just mostly about talking about my TV shows. But I think Jon is where he should be. And I do think it's kind of weird that Bran is the king now, though. Maybe that's one thing that doesn't sit with me well, because he's just so strange, and I do see how he could see from the past and he could make, you know, better decisions because he knows what happened in the past and what past kings have done to make bad decisions and stuff. So I totally get that, but it's just weird. And I loved how Sansa is the queen of the north. I love it. She's perfect. She's been through hell and back. I think that is perfect for her. I'm just doing a simple makeup look. I love the shade satin sheets in here. It's kind of dark in my living room, and it's also dark and rainy outside too. But I'm not even sure what color eyeliner this is. Oh, it's black. I'll use that. So, yes. And what else? Oh, and there's supposed to be 3 spin-offs in the works for Game of Thrones. I guess the one is like about Age of Heroes, and it's gonna be based like 1,000 years in the past in Westeros, which I think is awesome. And it's like, you know, going, because there's so many stories in Game of Thrones. So, what else? I would love a spin-off on the Targaryens, because there are so much stories, and I think the Targaryen family in the old Valyria, and how Valyria is no longer a city anymore, and how they all had dragons, and, you know, all the wars they had with each other. I think there's so many stories. They could have a whole season just in the Targaryens. Yes, so I would love that. 2 HBO shows. I also want to talk about a Netflix show. This one is a little more lighthearted, a little more, I don't know, just an easy show. It's called Dead to Me with Christina Applegate. I highly recommend that show. It is like a comedy, but it has a lot of like deep subjects, kind of. So this woman, her husband died by a hit and run driver, and she's upset. She doesn't know who did it, and she wants, you know, the police to do their job. She's angry, she's upset, and she has 2 sons. And so she goes to this support group for people who are grieving loved ones, and she meets this lady Judy, and they become friends. And then we find out shortly after. Maybe I shouldn't say anything, so I'll give it away. Yeah, I won't say much more, but it's just a really good show. There's a lot of comedy to it. There's a lot of funny moments, but like I said, it is a serious thing happening. I definitely like that show a lot too, though. And another show I've been into is Good Girls. That is on Netflix as well, but it's not a Netflix original. It is also on NBC. They are currently on their 2nd season. And what is it about? It's about these like house moms, and they're like a group of 3 friends. Well, the 2 are sisters, and the one is like a lifetime friend. And they're struggling with money, and they kind of get themselves into a lot of trouble, and they keep getting into more and more trouble to get money. Like, we all need money, but they do some extreme things to get this money. And I think it's a cool show. I really do. I actually heard about that show from Nicole Cutler on YouTube. And it's something in my eye. She did a recommendation of that, and then I just binge watched it. I think that's another easy watch. I enjoy that show too. So, I want to know if you guys have any show recommendations, and if you've watched any of these shows, especially like Chernobyl. If you have any websites I should look into to get more information. Definitely not a scientist. I don't know all the technical terms and stuff, but I know what happened in Chernobyl was serious. It was dangerous. It was terrible, and it was the worst nuclear accident in history. The first of its kind, and hopefully the last. Hopefully they have learned, from their mistakes, and hopefully there's something like that never happens again. Because that whole area is uninhabitable for thousands and thousands of years, if not longer. No one could live in that land. And all those people that survived, it changed their cellular, their cells. And their children have defects. Their children's have defects. It's just terrible. It's absolutely terrible what happened. So, I would definitely recommend looking into that, or even looking up YouTube videos and seeing like the abandoned area, like the explorers, urban explorers. So yeah, couldn't eat wearing a dark lipstick, but I figured I went really natural with my eyes. And I also curled my hair with the InStyler. I don't know, it's kind of crazy, but it gives it some volume, which I like. Yeah, I did a yard sale vlog. I don't know if it's boring to some people, but I thought it was kind of cool. I don't know, I figured I'd do it even if it didn't get a lot of views. But I think next time I would like to do like a demo with the InStyler, even though that product has been out for a very long time. I didn't realize how old it was until I started Googling it. But I think maybe it'd be fun to do. I don't know. But I will see you guys soon. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And please like and subscribe. Bye.